Hey there, comic book friends. I'm Travis. This is another edition of Monster Comics Reviews. And this is for the would-be first week of October? Yeah, first week of October books. I hope. I don't have Ethan here to keep me straight, so Ethan is off doing school project type things. Not sure we're going to see him again next, because he's got school plays and that sort of thing that he's doing. Anyway, let's talk some books. Astro City, issue number 5. I personally am still really loving this book. I've seen some other people's reviews where they're kind of shaky on the book. I really like it. I know there's a big picture here, and I think that instead of subtly slipping in lots of little storylines that we may not see again for quite some time, like in the first issue with the whole magical doorway and all that kind of stuff. Here, our writer, Kurt Busiek, isn't so subtle in showing us that there's all these stories that are going on, all these connections, and we've got our crazy guy, who I'm drawing a blank on his name now, the purple skin guy, who is invited us, the reader, in as this like secret agent that he has going, and we're going to see these stories, and it's important to see these stories in a certain way as far as this character is concerned, to get this larger picture, to deal with this supposed threat that's out there that is that is affecting reality in some way or another. And I think it's really cool to invite us, the reader, in to actually be a participant of that. I wasn't sure when when we first got this character, I think kind of breaking the fourth wall, talking to us, but this way he's doing it, I'm actually really enjoying it. And I love seeing these little bits and pieces of stories that I know we're going to get to see more of later on. So I'm excited about that. I thought this was a great story, lots of little things. Just the well of ideas for names and stuff like that. I don't know if any of you out there have ever tried writing your own comic books or making up your own comic book world and all that sort of stuff. I'm assuming a lot of you have as kids, if not as adults, and you try to come up with your own original names for characters and stuff, and just how well they do that in this. And it feels like lots of times we may never see them again, but they're just like, Cakewalk Guy, and just all these great names and great characters. I don't know, they're just cool. It's just a cool world. They just simply, when these characters are introduced, it's not like they're introduced in a way where it's like, oh, look, I'm the new whatever. They're just there. There's their name. They're doing their thing, just like they've always been kind of part of the world and part of the environment of this great atmosphere that is Astro City. Great book. I'm really enjoying it. I really like the way this one was told. Seeing these little fractured pieces and whatnot. A more obvious way for the writer to show and tell us, hey, look, there is this. There's all these stories out there we're going to be telling, and there's lots of bits and pieces, and they're all going to tie together probably somewhere at some point, and we'll just have to watch and see. As opposed to some of the way he's been slowly sliding some of it in a little more subtly. So great book. Astro City number 5. Next up, Batgirl issue 24, where we get to see Barbara dealing with the fact that, spoiler, boyfriend was shot. He's not dead, but she has to escape this whole thing, and now she's pissed at her dad. Her dad's mad at Batgirl, hates Batgirl because Batgirl supposedly killed his son, and now she pretty well hates Dad because Dad gunned down poor Ricky. And towards the end of this, we get a further complication because Nightfall and all of her minions have decided that they need to take out Gordon, because Gordon obviously knows that they're up to no good, even though Gordon hasn't figured that all out. He just accidentally stumbled into it. So another enjoyable read. Been digging these covers. I can't remember who the cover artist is, but the covers for these books have just been outstanding. Art inside is decent. Interesting, exciting story. I'm kind of really interested to see where this thing goes to at the header. At the end of this issue, Babs is having to put back on the Batgirl suit to go save Dad. We'll see where it goes. You really am interested to see where this thing pans out to. I think the next issue is going to break this storyline, though. I think the next issue is a 0-year tie-in kind of a thing where you get to see where she was at, what Barbara had going on in her life back when this whole 0-year event thing hit. So, but yeah, still a really enjoyable book. This latest arc has been quite good since Barbara's brother died, basically, or since Gordon decided to go on the hunt. And I guess another thing I should say about this, I'm liking the book more and more because it's a little more Gordon focused. I really like Gordon as a character, always has. Here we get to play a little more emotionally with him as a father, which of course appeals to me being a father. But still, great character. Gail does an excellent job of writing him in a decent way. 0-Year Batman, issue 24, massive $7 issue. It's like 3 comic books in here or something like that. Excellent read. There's all these nods and Easter eggs to all the old stuff from Batman swinging with a villain in his arms, exactly like Batman issue, not Batman, but Detective Comics issue 27, where Batman first appears. Just all kinds of homage all the way through this. We almost get a real potential origin for the Joker. We don't know that for sure. We're still assuming that the Joker is this original Red Hood number 1. I mean, it could turn out to not be the case, but it gives us kind of this origin of sakes. There's just lots of stuff I like about it. I like this fresh Batman when he's young and starting out. Interesting character, interesting way of him breaking creating the illusion between Batman and Bruce Wayne that there's no way the two of them could be the same person. It's kind of interesting. Bruce in here with the buzz cut. That's kind of interesting and cool looking. That's a little different look for him, which I kind of like also, just as a change of pace for the character. But yeah, just lots and lots of great nods at lots of cool stuff. Tells this other part of this origin story that we've all heard now from listening to some podcasts and everybody talking, that Snyder was kind of forced into doing. This wasn't really originally what he planned on doing. He wasn't planning on touching base on the actual origin story. So he's done that as briefly as he can and put in these other interesting things there. This book ends with not the Joker, but the Riddler basically saying, "Here I am. I'm going to make Gotham better by forcing you all to use your brains, and if you can't use your brains and figure the riddles out, you're going to get gotten rid of, and we're going to, call the dummies of Gotham and just have us smart people and whatnot." So I'll be real curious to see where we go from there. I think now we're going to get the Riddler stories that Scott Snyder has been wanting to write. Also understanding the way the structure of this 0-Year thing being 11 issues is actually it's like 3-issue or 4-issue arcs within this large canopy of 0-Year entitlement. So I think the last part of this will draw us back into what we saw in the first issue of the 0-Year, where you've got this torn sleeveless Batman on a motorcycle with a crossbow and shovels and all kinds of crazy stuff like that, and the kid fishing in the subway tunnel and stuff like that. So I'm still really on board. But I've been enjoying 0-Year from the beginning. I think if you've jumped off of it, this would have been a great issue to have gotten, despite the price tag on it. Yeah, great stuff. I think Scott Snyder writes an awesome Batman. Greg Capullo does an awesome job on giving us the art that we need, and lots of cool little montages in it. Great book. Next up, we're going to talk about Captain America issue 12. Nuke there on the cover. We see a little more of Nuke, basically being Nuke, if you're familiar with the character at all. Kind of a nutbag, and trying to set right some wars that we technically didn't really win or whatever. kind of a thing. I'm not sure exactly 100% what's going on with that. Where the tie-in's going to be with Captain America at some point. The Captain America points in this are really interesting. You get the Falcon shows up to talk to Captain America because he's kind of been out of action and wants to know what's going on, getting back. Gets kind of a quick introduction to Jet Black, and I love Jet Black. Jet Black's a cool character. I hope we get to see a lot more of her. I hope she continues to hang around and Remender uses her. Very interesting character. But we see Captain America break down in this. He's talking to his friend, longtime friend, Falcon. Telling the fact that he's been gone for a decade. A decade of his life has passed and very little nobody else's time, and no one's going to really understand that. Now he's further a man out of time than he was already. Yet again, before when he was a man out of time, at least he didn't remember that time. It disappeared. This time he's actually lived 10 years, and no one else has lived those 10 years. And the whole he talks about that. He talks about Sharon being dead. He talks about the son that he left behind, and he breaks down. And I loved it. I loved the emotional vulnerability that they show in this book. It was just really, really good. I'm so pleased that people conned me into checking this book out. I've really been enjoying it. This is a really interesting character, and I'm really interested to see where he goes and how he's going to deal with this emotional scar that he's currently carrying, and what's going to go forward. Obviously at some point he's going to get back in the game. He's going to have to deal with this nuke thing that's going on and some of that. But it's going to be. I'm really, really enjoying it. This wasn't like an exciting issue or anything, but like I said, I love the emotional vulnerability there. And my understanding is from talking to other Captain America fans that that's not how Captain America works. Captain America pulls himself up by the bootstraps and just soldiers on, which I don't know if that would interest me, but this does, because I don't see how a person goes through the stuff he goes through and just shrugs it off and goes on. So I'm happy to see this emotion from him. Great book. Defenders number 10. I will continue to say that Defenders, Fearless Defenders has the best covers. This one, of course, has got them all dressed up as basically B-boys, or I guess B-girls, if you would call them, dancing. And we get introduced to a character in this who is dancing. I don't understand the whole Infinity thing that's going on. This is an Infinity tie-in. There's these cocoons down, this whole different storylines going, which makes no sense as far as that goes. This new character who dances and has razor like ribbons that comes off of her fingers, and she dances all over and shreds all the bad people, is pretty cool. Characterization in this is fine for the characters that are in it. I enjoy them. Like I said, the Infinity tie-in part of this, I have no idea. Still not really excited by the art on it either. I'm actually in discussions with the rest of my family. My 13-year-old daughter and Ethan and my wife, the disembodied voice, they all read this book, and I'm in discussions with them about whether or not we're going to continue to keep getting the book. The book is permanently $3.99 now. I don't know that it's good enough for me to want to pay the extra $1 for it. I do not use that digital code. That digital code means nothing to me whatsoever. So I'm paying an extra $1 for nothing, and it's not that sharp. Not that sharp of a book. I enjoy it. It's fun, but I may keep getting it if the right parts of my family are still truly interested in getting the book. I will continue to pick it up. But if it was just solely based on my opinion, I would probably be done with the book. I probably would drop it because whereas I'm enjoying it, I'm not enjoying it that much for the price. The price does not keep me away from books, but it does have me looking at them a second time. So, in discussions with the rest of the family as to whether or not what's going to go on with the book. But it was fine, other than the whole Infinity tie-in thing, which was, like I said, kind of meaningless to me because I'm not doing the Infinity thing. So, Next up is Forever Evil Arkham War, issue number 1. This is the only spin-off of the Forever Evil stuff that I'm getting. I haven't picked up the Rogues one, and there's an Argus one also. I don't know if it's out yet, but I haven't gotten any of those, and I don't really plan on getting them at this point unless people really start talking about being just outstanding. I did really like this one. This was quite enjoyable, written by Peter Tomasi, and that's the biggest reason why I chose to pick it up. Because I've been just absolutely loving his Batman and Robin, so I figured I'd give this a try. And I like the Batman gallery of villains, and that's what this really has mostly to do with. Basically, the nutbags from Arkham, are all busted out, and they basically divide up Gotham into little fiefdoms, and they are allowed to do this by the Injustice Society, and the Crime Syndicate allows them to do that. And so you've got Pig has got his own thing. He's controlling the hospitals, it seems. The Penguin's at the mayor's office. Trying to think who else we see. I can't remember who else was in it or offhand. And then Bane is coming back. Bane comes back from wherever he was at, and he's going to take over Gotham. He's using this time to take over Gotham. He basically smashes in, breaks a bunch of people out, kills a bunch of people, and then starts going to all these fiefdoms and going, look, you're either going to be with me or you're going to be dead, because Gotham is going to be mine. And Scarecrow is going around trying to rally all these fiefdoms into, look, if we don't deal with Bane, Bane's going to control all Gotham. That's going to suck, and Bane's going to be his own person. He's not going to go along with the rest of the Injustice Society and the Crime Syndicate, and he's going to really rock the boat, and that's not what we want, because Scarecrow's kind of a brown-noser, I think. But really, really interesting to see what's going to happen. I'm curious about it. I like the characterization, I like the way everybody's written in this. That's kind of a cool idea. I love all these characters. It'll be really interesting to see how they either get along or don't get along, and what sort of craziness that they do. Because like I said, most of these villains, Penguin is an organized crime type person. Bane is an organized kind of a person, but has a megalomania about him where he wants to control certain things and have power and whatnot. And then like people like Pig and Poison Ivy, and a lot of them are just crazy in some way. They're not doing what they're doing to make money or control the world. They're psychotic. I mean, that's why they were in Arkham. And so seeing what they're going to do with the city, or how they might organize together to try and defeat something else, will be really interesting. So, like I said, been enjoying it. First issue was a lot of fun. And finally, I am going to talk about X-Men. This is issue number 7, Battle of the Atom. One of the Battle of the Atom tie-ins. This one actually has something. The last one didn't really have anything go on in it that I thought was important at all. Whether you're reading the Battle of the Atom or not, which I'm not, but it just seemed to be a pretty pointless book. It was just kind of spinning its wheels. This one, the stuff hits the fan, basically. We get a bunch of stuff kind of happening. Future people come to deal with the fake future X-Men that are there. That's really interesting. We get to see the adult version of the baby, the cute baby from this. The adult version shows up. That's pretty interesting. Jubilee has a really wonderful line when she meets the adult version, which I thought was pretty sweet. Let's see. What other fun things were in this? I'm confused by Jubilee's powers. I know she's a vampire. She obviously shows she's a vampire in this. I mean, she has fangs and kind of goes after people. But obviously vampires in the Marvel Universe can operate in the light to some degree. I'm confused on that. I don't understand the vampires in the Marvel Universe. So somebody can let me know on that if you would like. That would be awesome. But I don't know that I remember seeing any light powers. I mean, they get into a fight in here. I don't really see much of that. But interesting. I'm really looking forward to this all being done so we can go back to just being regular stories. If that doesn't happen soon, as much as I like Brian Wood and I like these characters that make up this kind of group, I may be done with the book. It's a little expensive book. But I know that the Dotsons, Terry Dodson, and I want to say her name is Andy, but doesn't sound right either. Are going to be doing art on this book pretty soon. And I love books with the Dodsons doing artwork, so that may make me hang around a little longer too. Like I said, though, looking forward to getting out of this this tie-in thing, this crossover with these other books, and go on to its own storyline and exploring something more than what the editors in the company are wanting to do. So that is that. That's the books for this week. Yeah, I guess that's it. I don't really, thought I had something else to say, but anyway, I don't. I will see you all next week with another Monster Comics review. Bye.